Everybody, Todd McFarlane with my Atlanta Braves and Milwaukee Brewers, because the Braves used to be in Milwaukee. So we're covering all of the bases today. Let's talk about Spawn, what he looks like without his mask, right? When he takes off his mask, he's got a burnt face. So let's talk about how you do a little gnarly stuff here. I'm going to go real quick, and I'm going to show you a little bit of a finished version of it, right? So I like to make sure that he's got these little beady eyes here. So again, get in there quick and put a lot of black around your eyes if you're going to, especially if you're going to do monsters, right? So get in there, do some quick stuff, make sure you get that up in here, and then you're gonna give him a sort of a skull face nose, and now you're gonna also come in here and give him some teeth. And again, given that it's like a skull that's been rotting, don't make the teeth all the same size. Make them all different sizes, right? Make them all different sizes and all different shapes. And now when you come up here and you do his head, which is basically like the top of a minion, I guess. You know what the minions look like. They got a round head up in here. He comes up in here, and again, you can see very quickly he's starting to look like a skull anyways, which is really essentially what Spawn looks like. You give him some high cheekbones. Again, you're still getting a little bit of the skull face, right? And then if you want to open up his mouth, you come in here, you give him a little bit of black down here, and then you do the same thing here. You give him these irregular teeth that are sort of small and pointy and whatever else. And then you start doing all your sort of crazy detail in it. So this is where I'm not going to have time. I'm just going to show you. So let's go up close a little bit. Just do lines like this and then start doing intersections. Think of it almost like a map that's basically showing you the waterfront of something. And then make sure too that your lines vary a little bit, right? So you don't want to have them all the same. So you can see here I'm crunching some of the lines, and then I go out a little bit wider, and then I crunch a couple lines a little bit closer, and then I cross them up in here. And so what all that will do for you is it starts just building form. And then if you want to start putting in shadows, you go a little bit darker. Again, I'm going to hit my button so I can go into white, and now I can come in here and I can start cutting some extra details with it. Same with here in the eyes. I can come back in a little bit later, and I can start cutting it, and then you start coming back in with the black, and you start playing a little bit with the highlight as you get into the cheeks here, and as you get underneath the eyes up in here, and now he starts getting all wrinkly, cool, right? Look at this, right? And he gets there, and then if you get it too scary, it'll even scare you like that, right? Even the videos seem scary to you. So we'll get there. And then when you get into the mouth, then again, you want to maybe make some shadows so that it just seems like the gums are, are a little bit bending. You want to give a little bit of variety. And you go real skinny now, and you just make these lines around here so that it feels like the gums are being torn apart from the teeth just a bit. And you bring some of these lines up in here. Make sure there's a lot of variety, a lot of skinniness. And then you just bring a couple lines here, boom, 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 boom. Okay, once you get all that, and again, I'm going real quick, you're going to come down here. The rest of the face and the jaw is going to be down here, right? We're going to get the jaw down in here. You're still going to do a lot of gnarly down in here, right? Want to keep doing these little sort of cool stuff. You can keep coming in with black and then clicking it in and going in white. All right, and then we got to actually draw the rest of them. I like to have it that the neck is pretty thick on these guys, which basically means that it's about as wide as the actual head. So you come in here, you give the Adam's apple what he has. He's got a shadow underneath here. You're going to do a lot of that sort of cool stuff. You're going to give him his big cowl. Let's go up over here, and then you're going to give the back of the cowl. You can make that have shadows in it, right? So again, doesn't matter how good the shadows are, but again, we're going to go fast here. You can play with that a little bit by cutting in some extra detail lines in it. He has the two skulls that are sitting on the side of his costume up in here, right? And you're just basically with these skulls here, you can either make them real clean or you can just do what you did here, which is make black eyes, give some teeth in there, and then we're gonna come in here with the marking on his chest. Right? He's got the marking on the chest. He's got some muscle. Let me go up in here, move it up in here. He's got some muscle here, and then you're gonna just start giving him a collarbone. And then you start building on all of this. You're gonna give him some more muscles. Maybe you wanna get into some more shadows in here. And you're gonna come up in here, give some more shadows on this side, and then eventually we're gonna get into the actual cape itself. And then you wanna maybe make some of this a little rectangle like you're folding paper. And again, the key here, I'm gonna show you in a minute, is variety. Make sure that your lines are thick and thin, 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 so that when you sort of cut some other lines in here, they all sort of look a little bit different. I'm going to come here, complete this. Remember, you've got the cape up over here. And again, you could, some of this stuff is true for almost any monster that you're drawing, right? You're gonna come in here and you're gonna make it as gnarly as you can, and then you're gonna add your lines. You're gonna make some big thickness, and then, like I said, you come back in here and you start adding all your detail, right? But I don't have time for that, so I'm gonna click it off here real quick, and I'm gonna show you what happens when I've actually got a little bit more time. You're gonna see all this stuff. So if we're going close here, you're gonna see there's the inconsistency of the teeth. There's even a little bit of spittle. There's all this sort of lines that basically make this. Notice that it's a little more cleaner and open here, and then I bunch it up in here, right? This just basically adds a little bit more shadow. There's the blacks around the eyes, and then I actually added some sort of almost highlight on this side right here. And if you pull back just a bit, you'll see now that, you know, I created the shadow here. It went down the side of his face and it went up underneath here, and that there's actually even a shadow being cast on his cape, because here's the big cowl and then here's the shadow on the cape. So if we go back, you know, to me it looks a lot better at that side. But if you get in, and this is where you guys are going to have to learn, as you get in, it starts to look like a mess, right? It's not really pretty when you get in there. So don't worry about it that every one of your lines is perfect. I mean, look at that eye right here. This kind of actually looks pretty sloppy, right? But if I pull it out, then all of a sudden you get the feeling that, oh, okay, it's actually sort of rotted flesh on him, and that's what it's supposed to look like. So there's some monster spawn tips for today. Appreciate you coming. Thanks.